Today we are going to have a look at the topic of precision in writing. Precision is very important in writing. It can also make us fall into some mistakes maybe, or if we want to be too precise. So today I want to share a few slides that I have prepared about the mistakes we can make when being precise in writing, but why it is very important to write with precision, because this will improve our communication and actually lead to rewarding your horse more often. Let's see, I'm going to share my screen. So, more precision in writing leads to rewarding more often. So, I would like to start with a question for you. When do you think that precision is needed? When do you think you really need to write with precision? Maybe you think that when you ride over jumps or cavaletti or ground poles, because there, of course, we have a certain path we must follow to go over it correctly through the middle at the desired speed. Maybe you think that riding with precision is really needed at competitions, because there, of course, we have to follow the test. We have to show exactly what is asked to get a good score. Or maybe when you're focusing on a specific dressage exercise that you know, okay, for this exercise, my horse has to move in a specific way, otherwise the exercise is useless. So in that moment, I will be very, very precise. So just think about it a little bit. When do you think precision is needed? And why do you think that is? I would like to show you why precision is actually always important. Precision in your way of communicating with your horse comes from precision in the plan or the goal that you have in that specific moment. So if you are really precise in what it is that you want in a specific moment, then you can also very clearly communicate it. And then it will be also very clear you can answer with yes or no if your horse actually did what you want. And in the case that it's a yes, you can reward him. You can be very clear, yes, that's exactly what I wanted. That's exactly what I expected in this moment. So to anchor this a little bit, I have prepared an exercise that we can go through together. I will communicate to you what I would like you to do, and I will do this in two different scenarios, in two different ways. Okay. Are you ready? Try this exercise with me. I will now communicate something and ask of you to do what I am communicating. The first scenario. Please stretch your fingers out, now over your head, and move it. So, of course, it would be funny to see what you're doing right now. Try to do what I ask in this scenario. Stretch your fingers out, now over your head, and move it. So this could be anything, right? Maybe you're doing what I want. Maybe you're not doing what I want. Who knows? Let's look at scenario number 2. Take your left hand and stretch it so that it's flat. Then lay it on the top of your head. Now stroke your head from top to back and repeat 3 times. So hopefully you can see that in the second scenario, what I want you to do in each step is very, very clear. I'm not saying just stretch your fingers out over your head and move it, I'm saying how to place your left hand, make it flat completely, not only put it somewhere over your head, but lay it on the top of your head and then stroke your head instead of just move it. So in which of these both cases did you know exactly that what you were doing was what I wanted? Hopefully the second one. I guess the second one, but I'm almost certain it's the second one. And also, maybe notice, how did that feel when you knew exactly that what you were doing is also the thing that I am communicating? Maybe how was the perception of my question, and was it easier to do it for you? And did you also like, hey, I'm confident I'm doing the right thing, I know what I should be doing? Of course, it's a silly example, but being so precise in my request is what I would actually want for your horse also to feel from your requests, that it is so precise that it's really clear, like, okay, this is what she wants in this moment. So with precision in riding, if we think about it in a kind of a negative way, we might have some pitfalls, like trying to micromanage the horse, or trying to have everything perfect, trying to do everything at once perfectly so that the horse doesn't make a mistake or a misstep, or so that it looks perfect. And this is really not the kind of precision that I mean. So it would be a mistake to interpret this in a way that you have to control everything, so that everything has to be precisely executed. This is not the precision that we strive for in horse training. You see, all the aids that we can apply as a rider is also referred by big riding masters as the orchestra of the aids. And I really like this one. So all the aids as a rider that we can use in the saddle, they form an orchestra together. But every individual aid, you can see it as one instrument. And if that one instrument plays its tune, that means something to the horse. So if you could imagine maybe what your hand is doing, the connection with the rein, your horse needs to learn this separately from what your leg is doing or what your seat is doing. Of course, in the end, we want to organize our aids in a certain way that we have a good posture, and we have a combination of the correct aids to ride, for example, a circle or through a corner on a bent line. But what is important to know is, if I start on a circle with my horse and I'm using my aids a certain way, and somehow one part is not responding. So I want my horse to bend a little bit better. I use my inside leg and it doesn't happen. The horse goes against it. Then I have to really zoom in into that one specific aid and be very precise what I want that aid to achieve. And then I leave the rest out. So I correct first that I can bend my horse correctly again. And it doesn't matter if my circle gets smaller or bigger, or if I leave the circle. I want this communication aspect of the whole orchestra. I just want to take one instrument and fine-tune the response to what I was playing with that one leg. If that was a song, for example, then I would want the horse to remember, hey, listen to this song, please. It's important that you react in the correct way. And that is the level of precision that I mean, that you, for each separate thing that you request. You might have a different approach to do it. We have leg aids and seat aids and rein aids, and they have to work together. But we can only request one thing at a time. And in the end, when we are playing the orchestra, then it is everything very quickly sequentially done. So for example, riding through a good corner, I come from the straight line, and then I help my horse to get with a half halt on the outside rein, and with my seat, I prepare my horse for the corner. I say, hey, wait a little bit, stay with me now. We are going to change the balance to go through the corner. So that's step number one. Then my inside rein asks for a little bit of flexion in the direction we are going to go, so that the horse knows, okay, I will be able to bend in that direction because I can release my jaw with the flexion in the correct direction we are going to go. Then the inside leg comes when the horse is in the corner with flexion to ask for the extra bend, and so that your horse goes through the corner on two tracks, that he doesn't fall on the inside shoulder, so it doesn't bulge out to the outside shoulder, but that he really steps under with the inside hind leg. And then already the horse starts to prepare for going straight again. So my outside rein then comes, and my inside leg can actually become a little bit more neutral. And my outside rein comes and shows the horse we are not going to stay on a circle in the corner of the arena, but after the corner, we're actually going straight again. And these things, when we are riding at the trot or at the canter, for example, through a corner, they happen really, really fast, but they all happen separately. And with each one of these, you have to notice if your horse reacts correctly to that one specific aid. So that is the precision that I mean, that you know exactly what you are asking with each of your aids, that you are doing it almost simultaneously, but actually really quickly in a sequence, and that you also notice what's not working. And you will also know if it is working or if it is improving. You can really reward your horse and say, hey, this one was really, really good. You reacted to all four of them in my sequence in the correct way. It was fluent and balanced, and we got through there very, very nicely. So remember the orchestra of the aids, that if you play the tune nicely, so it becomes a great song and easy for your horse to listen to, that you are actually doing things in a sequence with precision. So the conclusion I would like you to remember is that precision leads to a clear opportunity to reward. Because we ask one question, and for this one question that we have in mind, we know what the good response will be. We know how that looks like or how that feels like. So you also have to choose something that you really understand. That's also key, of course, not to ask a question where maybe you did it once with your trainer and you're not really sure, but you're going to try it anyway. And if you don't clearly know what you're looking for, then how will your horse know how to do it? How will he be able to follow you in this dance, in this request about that thing that you would like to do? So ask one question that you know how to ask very well, that you really understand how a good response looks like. Then when your horse gives the good response, you can confirm by rewarding. And I always encourage to reward very, very often. As soon as you notice an improvement, already reward, so that the horse thinks in the right direction. Don't wait until it's perfect. And in this way, you are really building your relationship while you are trying new things and maybe training for something that's still difficult. Because if you reward every time it is going a little bit better, the horse will be motivated to keep looking, to keep finding a better way, to keep listening even better to the songs you are playing with all your different aids. And yeah, you will be building your relationship not only by doing nothing together and giving your horse treats, but really by rewarding certain moments of that he was motivated, and he was playing along and performing. So within that performance, the horse can really also strengthen his relationship with you, because you ask for something, and then when it goes well, he's rewarded, and that is a really nice feeling for the horse. So what are some tips and tricks you can take with you for precision in your riding? The first one, of course, I'm a big fan of having plans. Have a plan for your training. So what is your desired outcome today for that one specific training? And then which exercises can you use? If I would like to improve my corners at the trot, to use the same example we did before, I can already start working with my horse on a big circle at the trot, which is really a consistent line where I can already try, can I ask for the flexion, can I ask for the bend, and then maybe make the circle a little bit smaller until I get on a 10-meter circle, which is actually, if you go through a corner, is 1/4 of a circle. That it has a smaller diameter. So in that way, you can use exercises where you can already build up to riding better corners. What communication will you check? So if you know in your desired outcome, what are the specific things that you need, then you can check if your communication works for all of the things that you need. Does your communication work for flexion? Does your communication work for bend? Does your communication work for the direction you want to go? And how can you check those things? And then build it up one by one, and then put them in a sequence really close together to do the thing you want to achieve. Consistency and repetition is also very important in training, and the repetition helps the horse feel successful because he already knows the answer. So if we would do the exercise that we did at the beginning, and I say, hey, take your left hand again, stretch it out flat, you almost already know what's coming. She's going to ask me to stroke my own head again. So in that way, if you consistently repeat, so your orchestra is playing the same song more than just one time, your horse starts to know the dance. Your horse already starts to know, oh, when this song is playing, I dance like this. And when that song is playing, we are doing that. So consistent repetition is really important. And if you ride with precision, with a clear goal in mind and with clear communication, then it is also easier to be consistent and to have this repetition. Because if you know exactly what you do and you know exactly which response you want with that, then you can do it again. If you're just riding around and looking for, okay, let's see what the horse will offer, let's see how he does today, and let's just ride around a little bit. And if we went through the corner or not, it's okay. It's okay for today. I mean, it's not the same feeling as, yes, you did that correctly. And yes, you did that correctly. And I want exactly that again. So I'm going to try it in the same way and see if we achieve it again. And if it doesn't work, you also know I'm going to change one thing. I'm going to try something else, but I'm tweaking my approach in a specific way, so I will know if I'm working in the right direction or not. So if you're not being precise and just leaving a lot of things that happen up to chance, then the horse is confused. You will not be rewarding him for anything that happens because it wasn't something that you specifically asked for. And yeah, some horses might really resent that type of training. They won't like it for a long time, or they might start challenging your leadership a little bit, or just not being motivated anymore, for example. So if you can be clear and precise, And you can use the same thing that works in repetition to improve and improve. Your horse will know the answer in advance, and you will be able to even reward him in advance when you feel like, yes, he's almost starting to canter, or he's almost going to do the thing I ask, and I can feel it that he's preparing himself. In that moment, you can even already reward him. And something that I use a lot in my lessons, not only with beginner riders, but also experienced riders, and for myself, I mean, for everybody, this is really, really a great aid, is to use visual aids in the arena. Not only for us as riders to know if we do exactly what we had in mind, but also for the horses. I mean, you and your horse will know if you manage to pass a cone or not, or if you manage to do a transition at the cone or not, or if you manage to go over a pole in the middle at the position that you would like. So that's not only helpful for us, but also for the horses. And it's easy to make a little bit of repetition, because if you ride a circle very precisely, you know it's round, you know it's consistent, you know it is very easy for the horse to keep himself in one position and in one balance, and he will be able to travel the whole circle in the same way. So it will not be here straight and there bent and then straight again and then a corner and then a half a circle, but it will be very, very consistent and easier. So it doesn't only help you, it also helps your horse. So next time that you will be riding alone in the arena, here are some ideas for visual aids. Very simple. You can put up 8 cones that are approximately, I think, 4 meters outside of the corner, maybe 5 at the beginning. So on the inside of the cones, you can ride a circle, as you see here on the left. And if you pass the cones, don't go too wide, of course, but if you pass the cones at the same distance, then you will know that your circle is truly round and consistent, and it will be easier for your horse to stay in the correct flexion, to stay in the same bend, and you can really communicate about your inside leg, which asks for the correct bend, the contact on the outside rein to define how much bend you allow and how big the circle is. And of course, your outside leg is there to prevent your horse from going too wide and maybe then bumping into a cone. So you will really have a visual aid. And what is also really great about these 4 cones when you're on a circle is that they help you to look ahead. So you will not be looking at your horse all the time, but you will be looking to the next cone. And I always advise to look at approximately 1/4 of a circle ahead where we are going, so that you also stay in the correct position. And the other thing is when you ride outside of the cones, then you will have true corners and you will know exactly if you're not too deep into the corner or too shallow into the corner, and that every one of those is the same. So if you don't make it through a good corner at E or B in the middle of the arena, we have 2 cones, and there it's a bit trickier, of course, to go through the corner, to bend there, to cross the arena to the other side, to the other long side, because the horse does not have the rail helping. So the outside rail of the arena is not helping there. And if you don't ride your corner truly in that position, in that area, then you might not make it past the middle of the 2 cones. In between the 2 cones is the most difficult. And as you can see, I've also added here a pole in the middle. Just 1 pole, it can already help you so much that also there you stay straight where there is no rail to help your horse, and you know after the cones I need to go over the middle. And this really seems very, very simple, but try it and you will notice that after every bend, after every time you ride a corner, there's always a little bit of time that we need afterwards to become truly straight again. And you will have to do that a little bit faster if you want to make it over the middle of the pole as well. And another thing with these visual aids, what you could do is also some sideways or leg yielding. After passing a corner of the arena, you could leg yield away from the fence towards that pole that is in the middle. And then when you are there, you know you're exactly at the middle of the arena, you do your leg yield in the other direction, and you would have to arrive at the fence before the next corner, where there is also a cone to help you. If we would not have these and you would ride that same exercise, it would all be a little bit less precise. And then it's like, oh, was it good? Was it not good? Okay, I guess it was good enough for today. But if you have these aids, you will practice it until you get it. And maybe you might find, okay, our communication is not so strong that I can make it through that second corner after our leg yielding exercise. So I will do it at the walk and I will improve my communication and maybe improve how my horse moves in a lateral direction. Instead of just thinking, okay, well, it's good enough and let's just continue with the next thing. And when you improve on these communication aspects with a lot of rewards, then you are becoming again much clearer in your communication, and our horses love that. So if you also have ideas to share with other members, let me know. It's always nice to exchange these kind of exercises together. So through precision, we can then use repetition and be a reliable trainer for our horse. Of course, I advise you to come with the plan so that we know what to do. And the most important part from this precision riding is to have one goal at a time. When you have a plan, you can lead, so your horse can follow you with trust along your shared path. So become the lead mare that your horse needs and set goals daily and communicate them to your horse with precision. Play one instrument at a time and you will have a beautiful orchestra in the end. Thank you so much. Let's see if I stop the presentation, if we have some questions about this topic.